Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Marco. I'm a former professional opera singer. I love playing and talking about video game music and playing video games and talking about video games. And Arc Raiders, how about it? It's been amazing, and I think it's actually one of the highest rated multiplayer games in a while. I don't think even just for 2025. I think it's one of the highest rated multiplayer games of all time at this point. But it's been really addictive and really enjoyable to play. But the one thing that I think a lot of people are not missing or not paying attention to, including me, is the music. There's two tracks that I have heard. One of them is called Circling Synths, which plays, I believe, when you're starting to boot up into the game. I wanted to check it out, talk a little bit about it. And then the other one is Team Up, which is another track that I haven't fully heard in game, I don't think. But yeah, it's also really cool. Let's check it out. Yeah, so it's an interesting piece, isn't it? Because it's kind of under the surface. It's certainly not necessarily sexy in the sense that like it's not bombastic or crazy. It doesn't necessarily go hard or any of these things. But what it does do is it builds tension and creates a feeling of discomfort and kind of like there's a bit of apprehension in the sound itself. There's kind of repetition in there. Kind of like you're prepping, you're grabbing your stuff, you're putting it in your bag, you're getting ready to go and move into Speranza and take on the challenges that you don't know what to expect. And there's a lot of strife in that sound, but it's also like real, like poised. And I think it also does a great job of showcasing the space, literally space. Like you feel like you're in an alternate universe, in an alternate timeline, which we are anyway. There's a sound in it, obviously, with the synth and with the crunch in there that I think showcases this world that is hostile and bleak, but also kind of like there's a little bit of possibility in the sound too, which is really exciting. And the twinkling is very like space oriented. And so here it actually it starts to increase in volume. It never goes really beyond, fortissimo. It doesn't really double down on volume. But what it does is here it's really the moment before we launch. Here it's where we start to get into this ba-dee-da, where we start to say, okay, it's time to take action. It's time to step into this world and go and survive it. It's interesting how the notes, everything's fairly centered. There's no crazy buildup. There's no massive volume increase. Again, like I said, it's not exactly sexy, but what it does have is space, and it has a lot of that sort of latitudinal, like flat sense of, I wouldn't say stress, but it has a flat feeling of like, it's a hill, you know what I mean? And it builds into this idea of like taking action and like facing down responsibility. And there's a little bit of a twinge of like emotionality of feeling forlorn or frustrated or a little bit afraid, but there's still this feeling of pushing through, it's very interesting how music can ebb and flow our emotions. you see what I mean? Da, da, dee, da. So there's kind of this recap where we go ba, ba, up, ba, ba. That's it. It's like 4 notes. But the re-emphasis and the emphasis there, I think, kind of send home the stress of the situation, or the, well, I don't have a choice situation. I have to do this. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's being like a slave to responsibility in a lot of ways. And then honestly, this particular sound actually reminds me of the arcs themselves, the robotic thing, the feeling of, you know, feeling like your back is against the wall and you're fighting a thing that is much, much bigger than you and much more, you know, it's a problem. In the end, with the brrr, it really feels like we're running out of options, or that's the sound of the robots. And the other track I wanted to listen to is called Team Up. And you see how in direct contrast to the previous piece, this piece says it's time to go. It's time to get it. It's time to go and do the thing. You know what I mean? It's time to navigate this path with people. It's time to really double down, buckle up, and get it done, you know? And it's interesting, you know, because obviously the synth automatically we associate it with the 80s. We associate it with an 80s sound, which makes sense. I mean, it does feel like, you know, Arc Raiders in a way is this alternate timeline that comes with, you know, its own set of challenges, and especially within this post-apocalyptic thing. This song actually feels very different from the last one, where it's ba-da-da-da-ya-da-da. That really is about, like I mentioned earlier, taking action and moving into things. And really like stepping foot into the different war zones and, you know, trying to come out of there alive. Ba-da-da-da-ya-da-da. We can do it. There's a sense of motivation in that sound. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, we can, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's, kind of empowering, as opposed to the previous one, which was more like looking down the barrel of your life and being like, well, this is how it is. You know what I mean? This is a very much more of a pragmatic, practical, musical sound, to suggest like, hey, it's we're going to be all right. You know, we're teaming up. We've got our people, you know? Especially here, it's very bright. Da, 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 da. And see, and you notice that shift there? That's danger right there. So we get that sharp cutoff from the ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, we can do it. Life's great. I'm going to open up this breach thing. Oh no, here's a hornet. Ah! You know, like you get shocked, and that's where the danger comes in. And that pulsation there, that's the like, oh shit, you see that thing? your eyes dart around and you feel the sense of dread, where suddenly it isn't all that exciting, it's actually terrifying. Because we're going up in half steps. Da-dee, da. That's all danger. And it doesn't really resolve. What it ends up doing is it ends up suspending us in that feeling of tension, right? It suspends us in this feeling of stress. It suspends us in that feeling of like, oh God, I don't know what's going to happen. And that's kind of the whole scope of the freaking, that's the scope of the whole game, which is really cool and really enjoyable. I called someone a stupid bitch the other day because they shot me when I had nothing on me. I said, I have nothing on me, you stupid bitch. What the fuck? Back in. Anyway, if you enjoyed that, definitely check out more of the channel. Feel free to join the Meatball Kingdom Discord server if you want to talk with cool people about music and just hang out and maybe make some friends. Check out the Patreon if you want to support me directly if you enjoyed this. As always, thanks a ton, and I'll see you later.